Miami! To mission control, we have liftoff. Phinhub! Phinhub! We talking Dolphin City! Phinhub, Phinhub! Yeah! It's that Dolphin Show! Phinhub!
Welcome to the Phinhub Show, the one NFL podcast you can't leave off your roster. Now here's your hosts, Joe and Kevin DeHale.
All right. Welcome to another episode of the Phinhub Show, powered by BetUS. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure to go check out BetUS and use code YouTube150 for a 150% bonus on your first 3 deposits for up to $2,000. That's using code YouTube150. So, guys, make sure to go check out BetUS before this Seahawks game. Plenty of ways to make some money. So let's get it. So the Miami Dolphins will be traveling to Seattle this Sunday to face the Seahawks, and they're going to be doing that without Tua Tagovailoa. Tua suffered his third confirmed concussion against the Bills last week on Thursday Night Football. And that really sucked. Are we hearing anything new about what Tua's going through? How's he doing?
It seems like for the most part, it sounds like he's, in good spirits. I believe the day after, Barry Jackson reported this recently, but the day after the concussion, he went to a Disney on Ice event with Raheem Mostert's family and Jonnu Smith's family. So, they also shared that he didn't show any signs of, having a concussion or any symptoms, so that's really encouraging. I also think it's really encouraging that he's able to travel with the team. I do think if it was something very severe, he probably would have stayed home and got extra rest. So if I'm a betting man, I would say after these 4 games that he sits out, he's starting that, Arizona Cardinals game. So
yeah, actually, I'm not sure if there's any truth to this, but I heard that Tua wanted to be out there already for that Titans game, that he's ready to play ball again. Yeah. I think the Dolphins and the NFL are holding him back just from hurting himself even further.
PR, you gotta at least. I know they are interested in his health, but you gotta at least act like it too. So
yeah,
this is something they have to do.
Look, you could say whatever you want about Tua, but that's a tough kid. Yeah. He really is. Like, he wants to go out there and he wants to ball for us. So you got to give him his credit where credit's due. Anyway, since the Dolphins don't have Tua Tagovailoa going into this game, they're going to be led by Skylar Thompson. Third year in the system of Mike McDaniel, so he knows it pretty well. And let's do a quick comparison for their careers. We have this week 3 matchup. You got Skylar Thompson against Geno Smith. Geno Smith, overall, looks like the better quarterback here. Yeah, Skylar, please save us.
It's just, there's not much to say about that. Skylar Thompson, obviously the inferior quarterback. I saw a graphic the other day putting him as the worst starting quarterback right now in the NFL, which I understand why,
Yeah.
But hopefully he can turn some heads. He can surprise us all and squeeze out a couple wins for us.
I know that he can drag out plays a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And that could be to the detriment of the team, but also it allows for maybe some of our playmakers to get open and move around. So if Skylar can do some of that this weekend, I think that might help out the offense just a little bit.
I think actually, to add to that too, I think having Skylar Thompson in the game is actually going to help the offense, because now I believe teams aren't going to play us the same way they have for the first couple weeks, right? 2 high safeties, all that. They're going to dare Skylar Thompson to beat us over the top with guys like Tyreek Hill and Jaylen Waddle. And we know what they can do. We know they can get free and get all that separation. So you never know. We might be in for some fireworks too with Skylar Thompson. From what I've seen and what I've heard, he is much improved from his rookie season. That's a given, right? You're gonna go throughout your years in the NFL. You're only gonna get better with time, with more reps, with understanding a playbook. I'm hoping we're in for a surprise. I'm hoping he can, do some nice things out there. But, all the people that are doubting that we can win this game, I do think there are certain things to talk about today that we're going to get into that can potentially help us, in the long run, because it seems like the Seahawks are actually going through some things, and they have some key injuries there on that side as well. So,
yeah, no doubt the Seahawks are definitely injured here. If we look at this graphic, you could see they have a ton of injuries on this side. And the Dolphins, to be fair, also have their fair share of injuries, with the biggest injury in the entire game obviously being Tua Tagovailoa being out. So even though the Seahawks are banged up, I would still say that we're in a worse position here as far as our complete roster goes.
of course.
Missing our main dude in Uno. But let's take a look at how our rankings match up going into week 3. So here you have the Dolphins and the Seahawks. The numbers don't look so terrible on the Miami side
Until you get to that scoring offense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is crazy, you know, to have Miami tied for 27th in the NFL with 15 points per game. That is not who we are as an offense.
Nope.
And that's not what I expected going into the season. So hopefully they can find a way to turn that around. If you take a look at the rushing offense with 110 yards a game, we're ranked at 20. That's going to need to improve with Tua Tagovailoa not being in the game. We're going to need a lot more from our running backs.
Yeah, and I expect to see more from the running backs. I think we're going to rely on that run game a little bit more, especially having a guy like Skylar Thompson out there. But yeah, I think there's definitely keys to this game that we'll get into now. For one, Teron Armstead's ready to go. He says he's going to play. I think that's pretty huge for this line, especially having a guy like Skylar Thompson. He's a righty. So, you know, that is his blind side. We don't want a guy like Kendall out there. Probably not even our rookie out there. So I'm happy that's encouraging. I don't know exactly what's going to happen at left guard. I'm not sure if Rob Jones is going to be good to go. So we might see Lester Cotton in there. That's not so great, obviously. But yeah, man, Liam Eichenberg, it looks like he might be ready to go as well. We know he's got a shoulder issue right now. But other than that, that's the line situation. But maybe we can get into the key players that the Seahawks might be missing.
Okay, yeah, the Seahawks have their fair share of injuries. So who are the big ones that we're looking at?
So Kenneth Walker looks like he might not be ready to go, and that's very talented running back right there. So if he can't go, I mean, I think that's pretty huge. Looks like DK Metcalf's nursing a hand injury. So we'll see what his status is like. I think he's probably going to play because we haven't heard much about that. But, you know, you never know throughout the course of a game if he might have some issues there catching the ball. Or
receivers need their hands, you know.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
It's very important. But I would say the biggest takeaway from, you know, doing a little bit of research with what's going on with the Seahawks is the right tackle situation. And Noah Fant, I believe it's a knee injury that he's got something going on there. But that's their second string right tackle. Their first string right tackle is actually on injured reserve, started the season on injured reserve. So if he's not ready to go, it looks like we're going to see Stone Forsythe. I think that's how you pronounce his name. But looking into him, he's not really one of the better right tackles in the NFL. He's actually one of the worst.
Okay.
So, and you expect that out of a third stringer, but if that is true and he's out there, I think that's something we got to take advantage of. You know what I'm saying? Getting some pressure on the quarterback from that side. And I think we're in good hands if Jalen Phillips is ready to go and he's good. So I think that's a key to the game. If we can generate some pressure on Geno Smith and not have to, you know, keep our cornerbacks on an island and, you know, allow for DK Metcalf or Smith and Jigba, which is an extremely talented wide receiver as well. And then they also got Tyler Lockett. So if we're not keeping them on an island and we can generate pressure, get to Geno Smith, I think that could actually be one of the keys to victory here.
I think Njigba actually went over 100 yards receiving last week. Did he not against the Patriots?
Yeah, he did. And I think he had like 11 catches as well, something like that. So he had a great game.
That's someone the Dolphins definitely need to pay close attention to. But let's take a look at how Geno Smith played last week against the Patriots. He threw the ball a whole bunch, went 33 for 44, had 327 passing yards, a touchdown, and 103 passer rating.
Yeah.
So Geno Smith was balling against the Patriots. I don't know if it's because the Patriots are so bad or if Geno Smith is so good, but either way, we did see the Patriots play the Jets last night, and the Jets had their way with the Patriots. So I don't know. What does that say? Does that say more about who the Seahawks are, or are the Patriots just that bad?
So, I mean, my logic wants to go to the fact that the Seahawks aren't as good as they might seem with that 2-0 record.
Right.
Because they struggled against the Patriots, and that's I mean, they barely squeezed out that win. They had to do it at the end of the game. The Patriots were actually having somewhat of their way in the running game, so I think that's something that we should look to attack as well. Really get into the running game with our guy, devon, achane. I think he's awesome. He's probably one of the better backs in the league, in my opinion. Maybe that's me being a homer, but he is playing like one of the better backs in the league.
Right. Not to mention we also have Jaylen Wright, who's probably going to step in and take some of those carries off. Because one thing I have noticed about, and I'll let you finish now, one thing I have noticed about the Miami Dolphins these last 2 weeks is and devon achane, great running back. I love to use him, but the way that we're using him seems like a little bit too much for someone his size.
Yeah.
And I would rather use him in spots, keep him fresh. If we continue to use devon achane the way that we're using him, he will not be here at the end of the season. And that's...
we don't want that.
And at this point, with Tua also being out, we don't really know the severity of his injury yet, or when he's actually coming back. But so I don't know if playoffs are still in our plans, but
they have to be. I mean, it's too early. It's
too early. No, I mean they are in the plans.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure we're not planning to fail here, but I don't know if it's
it's
in the cards for us.
Yeah.
So. The running back, devon achane, is amazing, but if we continue to use him like this, he's not going to be available much longer. So I think this is a great opportunity for us to start sharing that load with Jaylen Wright so they can be that 1-2 punch and give Jaylen Wright some opportunity to show us what exactly he can do at the NFL level.
Yeah, I think it'll be a cool way to, see what we got in the rookie and, definitely someone that's extremely talented with great running ability, great vision, great speed, some power in his run game too. So, yeah, I agree there. I think that'd be nice.
Yeah.
But going over a couple other things that have gone on, it seems like Eric Ezukanma's, I guess, ready to go if called upon. And so it looks like his injury that he had is gone. He's ready to go. So we might see Eric Ezukanma out there. I know that McDaniel was also talking about Malik Washington possibly being ready to go, but odds are I think he might be shut down one more week and come back week 4. So do you think that's maybe Eric Ezukanma's call-up game?
I think it has to be. Grant Dubois
has a shoulder
injury, and it looks like it could be a serious injury. It might even be season-ending.
I don't think it is. I think they said that it might not be season-ending.
Okay, so it might not be season-ending. Still, to me, that sounds like a pretty serious injury. If you're considering a season-ending, that means it's got to be something serious. So the Dolphins are very short-handed in the wide receiver department. We just let go of Robbie Chosen from the practice squad too.
Yeah.
So those two guys that we picked up towards the end of training camp, or the end of preseason actually, they are out. They're not going to be able to play for us. So we're left with Tyreek Hill, Jaylen Waddle. OBJ is still in the injured reserve.
Mm-hmm.
We have Malik Washington, who's not going to be able to go. Braxton Berrios, who's a little bit undersized and hasn't done anything the first 2 weeks. I don't expect him to really do much in the third week with Skylar Thompson. I think it is. I don't even see how the Dolphins do anything else other than bring up Eric Ezukanma, unless you start maybe using Tanner Connor as a wide receiver, because that's the other option that we have too. But yeah, I think Eric Ezukanma needs to be considered, and I would love to see him finally get out there and get back into a regular season game.
Yeah, they definitely see something in him too, so why not throw him out there, That's been our project for the last 3 years. Made the team this year, so you have to think that maybe he's ready to go.
Yeah, and you were actually saying in the last episode, which is pretty cool, Eric Ezukanma has had he's been, a preseason guy for us the last 3 seasons, right? 3 seasons, yeah. And his preseason has been with Skylar Thompson, and they've been dynamite together.
Yeah.
So maybe it's also another opportunity for it's another blessing for Skylar Thompson to have that connection with Eric Ezukama. You can bring that into a regular season game and see if it translates.
Yeah, and I think if we're seeing that, I'm pretty sure the Dolphins are seeing that too. And I think McDaniel's probably like, all right, we got to bring this guy up. We're already shorthanded a wide receiver. We don't have any other wide receivers on the practice squad either. So, I mean, I think it's a given. He's going to be called up. And also, Malik Washington, we're not 100% certain if he's coming back. But if he does, we were talking about this last episode too. He also has some. He has a connection with Skylar Thompson as well, and he's played most of his reps in the offseason, in practice, in preseason with Skylar Thompson. So that's another guy that has some familiarity with Skylar Thompson's game, that might know the spots that he wants to get the ball. So I think there's some encouraging signs coming into this game, like people coming at the perfect time for Skylar Thompson. So let's see. That'd be great.
Let's see if Skylar Thompson can get it done. What is your prediction for this game?
As far as the score or
score prediction,
what's going to happen?
Score prediction.
I'm always going to take the Dolphins, especially in this scenario. I think we're a more talented team, even without Tua out there, even though I know these guys have a great wide receiver room, but so do we. I will say that we're going to win 21-13. I think the defense is going to step up. I think we got to attack that right side, like I said. They also have a weak right guard in Anthony Bradford. He's one of the worst right guards in the NFL right now. I believe his overall grade is a 55.3. And I think he's also leading the league in penalties. So that's something we got to try to attack. Maybe they can even find a way to get Chop Robinson next to Jalen Phillips, which we know Chop Robinson was doing some of that work in college. So that'd be cool to see. Maybe get those two extremely talented guys next to each other and just cause havoc on that side. I think if we push that side, like I said earlier, it's a really big key to winning this game.
I'm going to go 16-10 Dolphins. I don't really have a great reason for it.
Just what you're feeling.
I just believe in the Dolphins. I think that the Dolphins are going to end up kicking a lot of field goals in this game. So, a lot of fun football.
Okay. So you're predicting 1 touchdown, 3 field goals.
1 touchdown, 3 field goals. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's see if our predictions can get any light. But the Dolphins will be going to Seattle to face the Seahawks at 4 o'clock. Make sure to check out BetUS and use code YouTube150 for a 150% bonus for up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits. Use code YouTube150 and check out BetUS, guys. But that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys for sticking it out with us, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thumbs up.